Hey guys, welcome to Coding with Tom. Today we are going to be adding view controller to display the products, and now the user will be able to choose which product he wants to add. We will also be adding a label besides the product in case we add two of the same product. We will no longer have duplicate rows. We will be adding this to the quantity of that product. As a bonus exercise at the end, we will be adding a sound each time the user taps on one of the products. The first thing that we're going to do is modify our model. So first of all, we're not going to have our order referencing directly product, but we're going to have another entity called order product that's going to have the product and the quantity, because we're going to be able to add multiple instances of the same product. Now our struct is going to have the quantity of that product, which is going to be an int, and it's going to have a reference to the product. Now let's change our order. Our order will no longer have an array of products, but an array of order products. The total can no longer be the price because it's going to be the price and the quantity, although we could actually create a variable in order product for this. Create here the total. It's going to be a double, and it's just going to be the price of the product times the quantity. And let's fix what we broke with this change. Here we're going to create it so each time we add a product for now, let's just add an order product with quantity of 1 and the new product. Now for the total, let's add also a formatted total. As usual, we return a 0 in case we cannot convert it. And that's it for our model. Now I'm going to change here things a bit. We used to have the order in our scene in the order view model. Here it was instantiated. Now I'm going to create another service that's going to keep a reference to the current order, and it's also going to store it. So my order service will have two functions, one to get the order, going to return an order, and another one to save the order. I'm not going to do this right now with a database, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have the order that's going to be initialized with an empty list of products. And let's conform to our protocol. So here we just return the order. And here we just save it. Now I don't want other classes to be instantiated in this class, so for that I'm going to make the initializer private. And the only way of accessing this class is through a singleton, which I'm going to call share. So static. And product service will stay the same. Now, unlike our previous exercise, I don't want anymore to have duplicated products in the list. Instead, what I want to have is that each time I add a product, it's going to search in the list, and if there is one product already, it's going to add to the quantity of that product. For that, we're not going to do it in the view model. We're going to create a use case. So this use case will be responsible of one single thing, which is adding a product to the standing order. We'll also represent this use case with a protocol. And it's not going to return anything. And this use case is going to have the dependency of the order because it is going to get the order, it's going to modify the order with the product that's adding, and it's going to save the order. Now for this, we're going to start organizing our classes, not by having the dependencies listed as variables, but inside a struct that's declaring the class. So every class that has dependencies will have this, a struct dependency. And inside, we're going to list our dependencies. For now, it's just going to be the order service. Like order service, and it's going to be the order service adapted.share. Let's create a default initializer. That's pretty much it. So the first thing that we're going to do in our use case is get the existing order. Then we're going to see if the order already has this product. Oh, here we don't have an ID yet for the products. We added the ID for the Swift UI project, but it's basically the same. Every product, as soon as it is instantiated, we're creating a UUID for it. Now we get an index, then we add it, else we're going to add to the end of the products. Okay. Quantity 1 and the product that we are adding. Now if we do, we're going to remove that product. We increase the quantity by 1 and we insert it. And at the end, no matter the outcome, what we're going to do is we're going to save the order. Now let's change our view model to reflect this. So now the order view model, instead of having an order, it's going to fetch the order from the dependency. So again, we're going to add a dependency, and for now it's going to be the order service, which is going to provide the order. And we'll also have a dependency to our use case, add product, which is going to add every product that we're adding to the standing order. So every time we get the order, we're going to get it from our dependencies. And every time we mutate the order, as in we delete a row or move a row or add a product, we're going to save the order. Now let's have an initializer. And when when for now we will have a random product. Let's not remove product service right now, and let's just test with our use case to see if it works. Product, execute, product. Now we haven't updated our UI yet, but you can see that when I'm adding repeated products, their quantity is getting updated. Still delete everything, the order persists. Let's modify the product cell to reflect the quantity. So for this, what we are going to do is we're going to just add a label to the left with the number. I'm going to embed both of these views in a stack view because I want this view to be dynamic, as in when I have one of the product, I'm not going to be showing the quantity, so I'm going to be hiding this. And the image is going to take over to the left again, like this. So this is the behavior that I'm going to have. Now let's return the constraint to this one. It's going to be 8. Now there's going to be an exception because right now auto layout doesn't know to which one to give the priority, since both of these have the same content hugging and content compression. So I'm going to add 200. This is the label that's going to stretch if necessary. And if I have to compress one of the two, actually the stack view is going to resist more. So this one is going to shrink, but it's going to enlarge also. Now for the stack view, let's add some leading space. And the spacing doesn't need to be that much. Our quantity label, we could make it a little bit bigger. And let's hook up this label and change the view model. Actually, let's move this. This is going to be the criteria as to if the quantity label is hidden or not. So it will be hidden if the quantity is less than or equal to 1. Now this must have broken the order view model, I think. Yes, here. So for the price, the image name, and the quantity. Let's try running this one more time. Now you can see we have our quantity on the left side. We're going to have duplicated products. And as we start adding products, then the quantity just increases. Now we are going to add our new scene, which is going to be where the user chooses from the list of available products to add to the order. It's no longer going to be a random product. Let's first do all of the necessary changes in the storyboard. I want this one to have a navigation bar as well, so I'm going to embed it in a navigation controller, just so I can add a cancel button. The only thing this is going to have is a collection view. Let's hook up the outlet. the cancel action item. So we're going to be presenting this view controller modally, which means that in format page sheet, this is going to be presented on top of the order view controller. So there has to be a way to dismiss it. So when the user presses the cancel button, we will just dismiss the view controller in an animated fashion. Now, similarly to a UI table view, a UI collection view needs a delegate and a data source, which is going to be this one. So first of all, let's create a view model for this. Now our view model will have a dependency since this is the one that's going to be really adding the product. It's also going to have the product service, so it knows which products to load. And actually, let's just bring over the lazy product that we have here. This class is no longer going to need this service. We'll have the same initializer with the dependencies. Now let's create first our UI collection view so we can create the view model of that collection view cell and then create it here. This one is going to be a UI collection view cell. It's going to be just the product collection view cell, and we're going to create a save for this one. Our cell is going to be very simple. The only thing that we're going to need is an image view. It's going to be the image of the product and a label with the name of the product. Let's add both of this in a stack view. Oh yes, we need to add a container view to our collection view cell. First this one. Then our stack view will go into the container view. Once again, constrain our stack view. It's going to occupy all of the space. And there you go. We're going to fill proportionally because the image view is the one that's going to take most of the space. Now, let's add just one constraint here, which is going to be the aspect ratio. We want our image to be squared for now. And let's change the content mode for aspect. Let's add our outlets to the cell. So it's going to be the product image view and the name label. Let's make these outlets private. For now, we won't use the await from nib. This one also has a prepare for reuse. So we'll call prepare for reuse in our super. And then we will make our image nil. And the text in the label new. Now the cell will again need a view model, so it will be the product cell view model. It's going to have a name. It's going to have an image name. Here we just need one function to configure the cell with that view model. product image view. And the name label with the name. And that's it for our cell. Pretty basic. Now let's go to our view model and add the methods that we're gonna have. So we're gonna need one method to know the number of products that we're gonna display for our data source. This is going to be an int. So we're gonna be returning products that count. We'll also need a function to call when adding the product. In a similar way as you select a cell from a UI table view, you get the index path when you select a cell from a UI collection view. So we're going to add a product for index path. Index path. Here, the only thing we need to do is get the product from our array and use our use case to add that product to the order. Lastly, we need just the method that will get us the product cell view model for an index path. And we're going to build it here. Name of the product and the image name. Now let's use that in our view controller. So we also need to configure our collection view, our UI collection view. Let's create a method for that. Configure collection view. And it's going to be very similar. So our products collection view is going to have a delegate. It's going to be this class. It's also going to have a data source. Let's also make it this class. And then we just reload the data. Oh. We also need to register a cell. This is going to be pretty similar. So let's create product cell identifier. And here's just the same thing. So we'll get the need with the same name as the class. Bundle because it's the main bundle. We'll get it from the product cell identifier. Now let's make our product view controller conform to this new protocols from the UI collection view. Actually, they aren't new. So UI collection view data source. So with this, we're gonna get the number of sections, which is just gonna be 1. Then we're gonna have the number of items. Here we don't refer to each part of each cell in the collection view as a row, but as an item. You're gonna see soon why. So here, for this, we're again gonna ask our view model that I haven't created. Cell for item and row. For this, again, it's pretty much the same as a UI table view. So we get the cell by dequeuing a reusable cell from the collection view with the identifier that we register the cell with. It's going to be a product collection view cell. Now we're going to return UI collection cell. And here we just have to configure the cell with the view model that we're going to get from our view model. And then for our delegate, For this one, we're just gonna use date tab, date select item as well. Now for now, let's do nothing here, actually. We're just gonna print, oh no, actually we already created the method, so add product for index path, and we're just gonna be adding one product and then dismissing the view. Now, let's try running it like this. So the only thing we're missing in our storyboard is adding an identifier to this navigation view controller that we're going to be instantiating. And let's go to our order view controller and add that. So every time that we're going to tap on the plus icon, we're no longer going to be running this method, nor are we going to reload anything. What we're going to do is we're going to instantiate the view controller. Oh yes, and let's also add this one, the identifier. Product VC identifier. Let's add the nav controller because we already know it's a navigation controller, so it's going to be again. I'm going to ask my storyboard to instantiate a view controller with the add product VC identifier. So now we're going to do that, and let's present and see what happens. Here I'm not using nor show or show detail because we're not going to push to that. We're going to present on top because we're doing an action, and then as soon as that action is completed, we're going back to our order scene. So we're going to be showing the nav controller. And let's fix our order view model, which I'm guessing must be broken. Yeah, we're not going to be needing any more the add product. I think that's it. Okay, let's try running. Now, let's try adding. Now you will see what happened here. So our collection view was displayed, but you can see that the images are taking up all of the space right here. They are not specifying to any size. So let's try adding that size. And that you will see that right now we don't have methods for this. So let's try running size. So here collection view doesn't actually have the size. For that we need to extend from another method, which is going to be the collection view flow layout delegate. Quite a lengthy name. Flow layout. There. UI collection view delegate flow layout. And this will have size. Collection view. Now we do have the size. Now we can specify it. Now what I want to have in my layout is 3 items per row. So this is why I was telling you row is not necessarily 1 item anymore, because with UI collection view I can actually have more than 1 product per row. So for that we're gonna make that the size is 1/3 of the width. For now we're not gonna have padding between our views. So the size of the cell is going to be view.bounds width, and we're gonna get 1/3 of that width. So that's what I'm gonna return. Return CG size. And the same for the height. Now, right now, if I do this, it's still not going to work because UI collection view delegate flow layout is only used if the layout of the UI collection view is a flow layout. So for that, when we're going to configure this, we're gonna actually tell the collection view that its layout, collection view layout, is a UI collection view flow layout. This is a concrete class by default that's provided by Apple. Normally you won't have to override this, so we just provide it like as is. Now let's try running this. Adding, and you can see right now that we have some of the products. Now there may be some spacing, some default spacing between the cells. So let's fix that. You can see, so let's try fixing this. But that we also have items, no, not this one. So we have collection view enter item spacing for now we're going to turn 0. That's it. Now let's also fix the fact that the name is not showing. Now, right now we have a problem, and is that the text is being covered by the image. So let's change, instead of using a stack view, I'm going to use regular auto layout. So what's going to change here is the aspect ratio is going to remain the same. I'm going to center it, and it's going to use the available space up top and from the label. Now the label doesn't need to have such a big title. I'm going to use body, and we're going to make it be centered, and it has the capability of stretching. In case it needs more lines, I'm going to add 0. That way it just adds as many lines as necessary. And again, let's make sure, yes. So our hugging and compression resistant priority is set, so this label will not get compressed. And let's try running again. And now you can see we have the text and the product. Now, just so it's a little bit better, I'm going to add rounded corners to these images. Let's not make them a circle, since the size is not that big, so we won't be truncating that much text. But for this, we are going to use away from nib. So our product image view, we just need to add a corner. Oh, sorry, to the layer. We're going to add a corner radius of 8. And here you will see that now I have my products. And I can choose one. Let's choose orange chair. Now you see that the view was dismissed, but where is my chair? Why is this not getting updated? We need to catch this change in presentation where we are dismissing so we can update the UI table view. Now, normally this would work previous to iOS 13 with the modal presentation, which was full screen. In this case, I would just have to execute this 2 methods, configure table, update title, and reload table view, and view will appear. But that's not going to be a possibility anymore. When you present in sheet form, when the sheet is dismissed, you don't get notified of the view will appear, because actually when you're presenting the sheet on top, both are being displayed at the same time. So view will appear, view will disappear, will never get called on this view controller. There is no default method that we can override. For that, we will need to create our own delegate method. It's going to be refresh UI, and in there I'm going to reload the table view and update the title. So when I configure the table view, we'll refresh the UI. I no longer need this here. And let's create our delegate. So our delegate, first, let's declare it here. It will be a protocol. Now we just have one method, did this miss view. Now we need to make this protocol be a class, so that then we can do this. We can make a weak reference to our presentation delegate. And when we add a product, we will, of course, first call our view model, dismiss, and notify our delegate that we did dismiss the view. Now in our order view controller, we just need to conform to this new protocol. Let's add another extension. And when the add product view is dismissed, let's just refresh the UI. Now let's also add ourselves as delegate. So now we need to fetch the add product view controller from the nav controller. Vision controller. Then we can fetch the view controllers, the first one as add product view controller. And before presenting, let's add ourselves as the presentation delegate. Let's try running once more. Present, so let's add a coffee table. There you go. White chair. Let's add another white chair. Okay, so we had one problem there, which was, so you were seeing the products getting duplicated because the product service was always creating them. So for that, we're going to make this product service adapter also be a singleton so that our products are only instantiated one time. And let's try adding once more. Let's add a coffee table. Add another coffee table. There we go, 2 times. Let's add more products. And there you have it. In this case, we don't have to actually make any change for iPad. iPad already implements well the form sheet. It adapts. Let's try running it. Now you'll see that when I tap here and add, I'll get not the complete view, but a form sheet. I didn't have to do anything. When I tap on something, then I can add it. I can click on it. As this iPad, I also get the swiping dismiss animation and nothing happens. Let's do a mini bonus challenge, which is going to be when I tap on one of these products, I just want to display a sound. Okay, so for this, there is a sound. So it's going to be this tap sound, which I'm gonna play every time I tap on a product. Let's move it here. And we're gonna be playing this sound in our view model. So every time I add on a product, I'm gonna add the dependencies, and before I'm gonna play sound. Now to play a sound, we're gonna be using a V foundation. The only thing I need to do is first get the URL for the resource. So I'm gonna the main bundle, a URL for resource, which is tap sound with an extension and then the only thing that I need to do is instantiate a player. Now I will make a reference to that player. If I don't do this, then as soon as I create it, it will get deallocated. Player is equal to AV player with URL. That's going to be the URL of the resource, and then as soon as I have my player, I just have to play the sound. But now let's test it both in the iPad and the iPhone. And that's it for today. I hope you like it. See you next time to do this exercise in Swift UI. Bye.